Ralph, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
There's a question I wanted to ask you straight off the bat, and I'm conscious that in England, when you see like a Porsche go by, like it's completely exotic. It's this kind of UFO alien thing, and it certainly looks different to everything else that's on the road. But like, from your perspective as a German, you know, for us, they were not common cars. It wasn't something that you saw very often. So when they went by, it was something pretty incredible, and it was a weird shape, and it was an interesting, exotic thing. So are they more common in Germany? Do they have the same kind of, I don't know, exotica, do you think?
Well, they are more common. They are around everywhere in Germany. It's a good question, actually. And since I'm a kid, I saw them on the street.
Yeah.
I saw them around. You see them, people going shopping with them, you know, taking kids to school. You see them every day. And you see old cars and new cars. It's much more common than here, absolutely. And in back to your question, is it exotic? Yes, it is still a great sports car, exotic, but it's there.
Yeah.
And for me, particularly, I was growing up with them. You know,
Were you?
Oh yeah, I mean, same age in the Rolling Stones, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
I saw them when I was a little boy. I saw them when I was a teenager. I drove them when I was a young man, and they are very present in Germany on the road.
So it's very much a part of the culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because for us, when we think of Germany, you know, there are many different things we think of, and certainly Porsche is a brand that you automatically think of when you think of Germany. So is it as much? Is there a lot of pride in the brand as a German?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's still, I mean, there are great other German cars, you know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, of course.
Italian sports cars, but when it comes to Porsche, I believe that it is probably the most iconic German car made and around.
And you know, what I find interesting, and I don't want to make any kind of generalizations, generally speaking, but like, I almost think of Porsche as the least German car, because the shape of it is like, it's so voluptuous, it's so round, it's so curvaceous, it's almost, dare I say, it's almost Italian in that kind of romanticism, or maybe that's the wrong word, but like just, I don't know, in the curves of it, you know, and you almost think of like, I don't know, you almost think of German design in some way as very straight and to the point and kind of, I don't know, more straight lines. I'm not articulating this very well. Yeah, more edgy and more, I don't know, less curvaceous and so on. And certainly when you look at the other products that, you know, the other German manufacturers that are out there, they're much more traditional. This is quite an exotic and voluptuous shape, and certainly not conventional with the engine being out the back.
Well, there's another car which is very similar. It's the Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah.
And that was around even more than Porsche. Sure. Everybody had a Beetle. My first car was a Beetle. My second car was a Beetle. Yeah. I think there's nobody in Germany who never drove a Beetle before. That car was everywhere. Back engine, round shape. Yeah. So from that perspective, well, it is German.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, it can only be. I mean, there's no mistaking a Porsche for anything else than a Porsche. Yeah. And intrinsically, it obviously is German. But it's just, I don't know. Sometimes I look at the shape and I just think it's so.
It's special, isn't it?
It's super special, and it's super
special.
Unique, and there's just nothing like it that goes down the road.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, let's talk specifically about this car and how it came about. Because what was interesting to me, and the reason I wanted to do this video, is because you've done what a lot of people would dream of doing. You know, you've gone and commissioned a shop to build you the ultimate 911. So I kind of want to live vicariously through you, and I want our audience too, as well, and kind of understand what that process was about and how you got there.
Okay.
And so how did it start? Where did the genesis of this project come?
Well, the thing is, I bought that car in Germany. It's a German car.
Yeah.
I think 7, 8 owners before I got it. Actually, I didn't buy it. A friend of mine bought it. Because I always wanted an F-type, an F model, an old one.
Sure.
And he called me one day and said, I've got a great car, and it's a 3.2 Carrera underneath. So, I bought that in Germany, brought it over here, and I drove the car about 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
I had a 993 back then, which is a brilliant car.
Yeah.
A C4, it was fantastic. But every time I went to the garage, I picked my 3.2.
Well, you showed me a picture of the two cars parked together at home, and that's it's a wonderful combination of two air-cooled cars, the 3.2 and the 992.
But again, when I went out, I went in the 3.2.
So why is that? What was it about the 3.2 that made you go, actually, that's the keys, that's the car I want to drive?
Well, for me,
not the 993.
it's the what's the word? It's raw, the driving. Yeah. There's no power steering. The cornering, it's work driving that car, and you feel the car on the road. Really, it's something I personally like.
Yeah.
I mean, the 993 is fantastic to drive. It's an amazing car, but this is more, I don't know, authentic is the word, and I just loved it. I absolutely love it. Every corner is a challenge, particularly when you go fast or when it's a bit wet outside. And and then back then I had the car 4 years. Mm-hmm. And then, as usual with old cars, rust appeared, and it needed some work. And because I always wanted an F model, I came up with the idea I backdate the car.
Okay.
I spoke to a friend in Germany, a good friend of mine, and because there were many people, oh, you can't do that. It's a 3.2, beautiful car. You can't take that off the road. And Narco said, do what you want, it's your car. And
well, you don't want to live your life living someone else's dream, right?
Exactly. So and then I decided it must be an ST.
Yeah.
That was clear for me because I saw STs. I saw them, I mean, everywhere. Even when I was young, there was like, they called it slalom races in car parks and shopping malls in Germany. That's where ST were racing, or airport races. So I wanted an ST, and then I made the decision. It's getting backdated to an ST. Before I spent a lot of money to get rid of the rust and do panel works and stuff. And then I started shopping around how to do it. I had no idea how to do it. There was the option going to Germany, but I wanted to have the work done in the UK. I wanted to be close, I wanted to see it. And I did phone calls to the usual companies, Tatil, Neinmeister, sent emails around. Mm-hmm. And then I came across one company just around the corner here, where I decided to go with. And I went with Stuttgart Klassiker at the end to backdate the car.
So let's take a little step back for a second, if that's okay. So what made you go, actually, I want to backdate? And did you ever think about starting with an F-Series as a base car?
No. I mean, I just had the base car. I had the 3.2. That was the car. I didn't really think about what is the best base car. It was a lovely car to drive. Or it is a lovely car to drive. And because I had it, and I just, let's go for it.
And I suppose
I didn't really think which is the best donor car. Just went with what I had.
So you had a car that you already loved, and
yeah.
Okay, got you. So I mean, one of the hardest decisions, I guess, going into a build like this is you're starting pretty much from scratch. Like, is deciding, colors and spec and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's a lot of decisions to make.
It is. I mean, when I spoke to Stuttgart Klassiker and I said what I want, and they asked me one question which is actually quite interesting and important is, what do you want to do with the car? And I didn't want it a track car. Mm-hmm. I wanted the car as close to ST as possible, but I wanted it as a street car, a car I can use every day. So no cage, no racing seats. I wanted carpets in there. I want some comfort. And I think that was the key point in which direction the project is going. So everything ST as much as I can, like the wheels and steering wheel and stuff like this. But the inside, as you can see, it's different seats, carpets in there. I didn't do anything with the engine. Mm-hmm. And that's wrong. That's wrong. I did something with the engine.
I'll quiz you on that in a minute. I think that's that's probably the most important question. There are a lot of people who modify their cars and they don't necessarily have like a clearly defined use for the car, and as a result, a car ends up being a bit of a mismatch of one thing and not quite the other. So I think having that sense of direction and knowing exactly which direction you want to go in from the outset makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And to be fair, with Stuttgart Klassiker asking me that question and having the discussion, that was for me the deciding point to go ahead with them, because they understood what I want.
Yeah.
And we had, when the project was underway, we had sort of pulling and pushing. You know, Dave, for example, said, you need to get rid of the sunroof. There is no ST within sunroof. And I said, I like the sunroof. I want to keep the sunroof.
Yeah.
And still today, Will is saying, you should have gone rid of the sunroof. And I said, no, it's brilliant. Going to the Alps with the sunroof is amazing. Yeah. So things like this were quite important on the project.
I totally agree with you. I mean, like, I love a sunroof, you know, having that view overhead and that extra amount of light, especially in a dark interior, I think it's fantastic. Yeah, people will tell you about weight and this and the other, but quite frankly, the biggest improvement you can make to a car is really the driver. It's not the difference, not the weight difference, you know, what's called at the top of the car, but it's going to make all the difference, especially not if you're not on a racetrack. You're
right. It's really, for me, was important, you know, how do I use the car? And I use the car every day. Well, pretty much every day.
So let's go through the specs. So we've got ST arches. Are they steel? Are they fiberglass?
It's all steel.
All steel. Yep. Front and rear.
Everything is steel.
Lovely.
There's no fiberglass apart from the front bumper.
Okay. Nice. And so we got fiberglass front bumper and the rear bumper as well, I guess.
Nope.
No, the rear bumper is steel.
Three-piece steel.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So what was the thought behind having it in steel on the rear?
Again, I was actually going for the one-piece fiber bumper, and Stuttgart Klassiker convinced me it's the better look, and I don't know if it's a better look or not, but we decided to go with the three-piece steel, and with hindsight, I think it looks more, again, authentic. It looks better. You know, you see the little bolts there and stuff like this, and it's not straight here.
Sure.
And it gives the car a certain
character.
Yeah, that's the word.
Very cool. Okay, and so what about the color? Because that must have been a very difficult decision to make.
Yeah, the color is an interesting one.
Yeah.
There's a story behind that, actually.
Okay.
I would love that. My wife always wanted a powder blue car, so she had an influence. Oh, go for blue. And if you go for powder blue with Porsche, it must be Gulf blue.
Yeah.
But I wasn't convinced. I wasn't really. Is it the right color or is it orange? And again, Stuttgart Klassiker said, "Oh, powder blue. Are you sure about that?" And then I read an article about a Gulf blue ST in a magazine, which was running in Daytona in 1972. It was a used racing car, and I was absolute besotted. I loved the car. I looked at the article, oh, it's amazing. And that was the trigger for me. I said, it is Gulf blue. And funnily enough, that car is owned by JFD, by Johann's.
Okay, right.
And I didn't know that. No, I didn't know it. It's one of Johann's cars.
Yeah.
And I saw the article. I got the article printed in a frame at home because that was the inspiration for my car.
So to give our viewers a bit of context on that one, what's called Johann is a very generous collector who was kind enough to take part in Megaphonics this year. So did you get a chance to speak to Johann and say to him, your baby blue ST was an influence on mine?
No, I didn't.
No?
No.
Okay. Well, that's a conversation to have.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm not sure if he still got the car.
Yeah. I don't know whether he does, actually.
But that Gulf blue ST, and it was all with stickers and racing pictures back from the 70s, and I absolutely loved it. And I said, okay, it's going to be Gulf blue.
Yeah.
This is color code 928. 72 color code. So
we're running a long hood. We've got the F series, what's called conversion, I guess, on the wings, and the bonnet you said is in steel as well. Yeah. And then you've got a central filler cap. Le Mans style. Very nice. And just some rubber, what do you call them? Quick release boot straps. Do you still have the original release underneath it, or have you just got
I do.
The rubber straps?
Yeah, it's still underneath.
Yeah. So in the real world, no one's going to be nicking your luggage or things out of your car, basically, when you've got to pass out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. And tell me about the running gear. So what is... let's talk about the engine. Can we open the engine lid? So I'm guessing we're still a 3.2 Carrera engine?
It is.
Yeah.
It is the original engine.
Mm-hmm.
We put 964 camshafts in.
Nice. Okay.
Dansk RSR exhaust
It
mufflers.
sounds really good. It's got a nice deep
Yeah.
tone to it. Really
Yeah,
nice.
little bits we took the air filter off.
Mm-hmm.
But other from that, it is still the original engine. We had to rebuild the gearbox. The gearbox was it's a 915. And I mean, you know the 915. If you abuse it, it's going pretty fast, and
Sure.
it was totally gone.
Was it?
Couldn't do the second gear or anything.
Fair play. Yeah, second gear tends
So
to
yeah,
be the weakest one.
gearbox we built, 94 camshafts, and the whole thing was warper blasted and zinc plated.
Nice.
And then it was mapped by Ship Visit,
Nice. Okay.
and
So the engine hasn't. When was the last rebuild on the engine?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Really?
Yeah, I don't
So
know.
what was the mileage on the?
When I bought the car, it was about 120,000 kilometers.
And do you think it's possible that it'd be the same engine that hasn't been apart?
Well, I don't have any documents or invoices.
Yeah.
I can't really tell. It might be still the original engine. And it
I'll tell you what,
runs
it's
beautiful.
Well, I know, yeah.
It runs absolutely
Having
beautiful.
done I think 2 Alpine tours together, or was it
Yes.
3 now? I forget.
No, 2.
Yeah, I've certainly seen it move, and yeah, I can safely say that it's a healthy engine. Yeah,
And I
it
said
certainly doesn't
before,
hang about.
I don't want a track car, but I go on tracks. I've been
Yeah.
on tracks with the car as well, so
Yeah,
it runs good, yeah.
And it looks like it's been detailed, though. I mean, like all the fastening and clips and everything. Looks,
Yeah, I mean, they had lots of.
Looks
The
really
engine
smart.
was, apart, and everything was cleaned. And as
Yeah.
I said, this is also warper blasted and
Yeah.
zinc plated and cleaned, and new wires and
Sure,
stuff like this. New components, new fuse boxes.
Do you know-
Whatever we could change, we changed. But the engine itself wasn't rebuilt.
Do you know, often enough people think you get to 100,000 miles with an air-cooled engine, it's time to rebuild it. But quite frankly, I think that's only the case for cars that haven't necessarily had the best of upkeep. I think with the right amount of maintenance, these cars could easily see 200,000 miles. It's all just about proper preventative care and being really diligent with your maintenance, really.
And more.
Yeah, and yeah, no, that's really smart. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're running a Dansk exhaust. You've still got heat exchangers, I'm guessing, on the car.
I've got SSIs underneath with heat
Yeah, yeah.
exchangers, yeah.
Nice. So it is a usable car up in the mountains.
Yeah. That was one of the compromises we had to do, because I said I need heat, because I drive the car all year round. Without heat, it's a bit chilly.
Yeah, no, for sure. So you do use the car all year round?
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you get worried, because a lot of people will be thinking of this, do you get worried about salt on the road and rust and that kind of thing?
Well, if it's heavily critted, I leave it in the garage. But
Sure.
if I can, if there's a nice day, I take it out. Yeah.
Yeah. My view also is that wax oil helps a hell of a lot. You know, just give the coating underneath the car a good coating, and pretty much you're good to go.
And I
A
think if
quick steam clean at the end of the season.
And if you don't leave it wet outside and
Yeah.
stuff, clean it up, put it in the garage, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I had this 993 up in must have been January time in 2020. I forget when it was now. Time seems to be going by so fast, but it was a while ago, and I had it up in the mountains, in the middle of the snow and so on. And all I did was wax oil it, came back here, gave it a steam clean, and it was good as gold again.
Yeah.
So I think with the right maintenance, you really can use these cars all year round.
Yeah, you can, absolutely. But then on the other hand, if something, there's stone chips and everywhere, at one point, you have to do some work on it.
Yeah.
But,
But stone chips are so much of a part of a car's character. I think that level of patina from enjoyed miles up and down, alpine passes and everything else in between, I think are an important part of a car's life.
They're a nuisance on the windscreen. It looks like it's a shotgun.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Absolute nuisance.
So tell me about, like, for example, these, because all these window frames and everything would have been black at the time.
Yeah,
So
correct.
are these new? Or it looks like these are the originals that have just been taken back.
These are the originals. We
Ah,
just
yeah.
took the paint off and
Polish them up.
polished them up. Yeah.
Yeah, they look really smart.
That was another decision when I built the car. Do I go for black or silver?
Yeah.
And black with the Gulf blue looks really nice. And for some reason, I went for silver. I don't
think
know
it's
why.
more authentic to the period, isn't it? STs
Yeah.
usually were like that.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
So
nice.
even went for silver Vipers.
Yeah, I was going to say that's something I haven't seen before. So I'm guessing this is not an original Porsche part, is it?
Well, I don't know. This is something.
Or has that been stripped back and polished?
No,
I'm trying to
I
figure
think
what that is.
they are replacements of the black ones.
Because even the blades are chrome as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought, if everything is silver, we can't have them in black, can we?
Yeah,
So-
no, it's true.
And, and there's
Okay.
some original parts on the car as well, really original parts, old ones.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like which ones?
Like these.
Oh,
for
right.
example.
You're in.
Yeah, they're all
yeah,
from my friend's garage in Germany. He said, you do a 70, early 70 ST. I've got the mirror lenses. The wheels are original Fuchs wheels.
Are they? Okay. Right.
Eights,
So 8s and 9s.
8s and 9s, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, those are rare and hard to get hold of.
Yeah.
And you can spot them from a mile away when you know what you're looking for. And the
Yeah.
finish on them is really nice. Did you have them refinished or were they?
Yeah, we had them. Yeah, they had them. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like a really smart job. Who did the refinish for you?
Stuttgart Klassiker.
It was,
Everything. I mean,
okay.
to be fair, they had
Yeah.
the car. They picked the car up in October 2020, and it was ready in April.
Really?
Yeah.
So were they, because a lot of the time, going into a project like this, like you think, is it going to be on time and is it going to be on budget? So are you saying the car was on time?
It was on time. I mean, it was tremendous, fast. They did the
Yeah.
turnaround. There was, other companies, they said, it's about 15 months project or longer. And Stuttgart Klassiker, what I also like, they said, we only do one car.
At a
So we
time.
do your car at a time, which was great. And in 7 months, it's including paint work and everything. It was amazing.
That's crazy that
You
they
talk
turned around that quickly.
Talk about budget. That's a different.
Okay.
It never.
So-
I think. I mean.
I'm not going to ask you figures. I'm
No,
not going to
no.
ask you figures.
I-
But suddenly people that's one of the scary things, right? You go into these projects and you think it's like a house. It's whenever you do any kind of housework and so on, it's always over
Exactly,
budget,
yeah,
it's always over time.
Yeah.
And certainly that's a consideration for people. What's called, some people would go, why would I go down the road of building my own car with the worry of having the stress of it not coming in on time, but more importantly, the financial side of it, versus buying one that's already complete. So what would you say is your argument for one or the other?
Well, I think you can't give yourself a budget. I mean, you must have a budget in a way. You've
Gotta have a budget,
But you have to know doing something like this is. You're absolutely right. It's like a house. You decide, I want different windows, and we go for the better kitchen appliances, and it's the same with the car. The prices here, it was more expensive than I thought because we had to do much, much more body work.
Right,
It
okay.
was rust everywhere.
So
that was one
something you couldn't
something
preempt.
you couldn't predict, exactly. And but then down the road you start, I could get these original Fuchs wheels. Okay, they're not cheap. Okay, but I want them. Or we changed the totally oil filters and the oil pipes. The old ones were still pretty good, but when the
While
car's
you're in
apart, so why you're doing it, and you add and you add and you add, and then at the end of the day you look at.
So if you could go back and start
cost.
the project again,
Yeah.
are there things you would do differently in order to try and keep the car on budget, or to try and preempt the things that you would want to have done?
That's a tough question.
But it's one that people will want to know the answer to, and it's certainly one that I would want to know the answer to.
Well, I don't think you can do much. You can't do it much different because, I mean, for me, my heart was in it.
Yeah.
I wanted that car the way it is. Yeah. And if you go for it, I think you go for it.
The thing is also-
If you, I mean, you could make decisions. Okay, I go for 16-inch replica wheels and save $3,000, or I keep the old oil filter, or I go for cheaper body paint, stuff like this. But if you spend so much money in a project like this, in a something you like, I think you need to have a buffer in the budget to go the extra mile.
I suppose the advantage of buying somebody else's project or finished, completed car is that you know what it's going to cost, that's it. In theory, okay, there's always going to be some kind of repair work, there are old cars, there's always something in one shape or another. But the other side of it is doing your own project, then it really is something that is truly your own.
Yeah, it is. But it's always something, you know. And then on the other hand, is once it's finished, it's not finished. You continue to add money.
Yeah, it never bloody ends. And okay, so here's the golden question: would you do it again?
Yeah.
Yeah?
No doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a different car. I would
Yeah.
do probably an RSR this time, but I would absolutely do it again. Yeah.
Yeah. And is there anything you would do differently, doing it again? I know I've asked you that question already, but I'm kind of asking you in a different context, in a different way.
Well, again, I wouldn't build the same car. I would build another car, but
Yeah.
no, I would probably do exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly.
So that means overall you've had a really positive experience in building the car.
Yeah. I mean, it is maybe the next one, you know, building just a pure track car.
Yeah.
You know, doing something like that. But then again, you got a track car in the garage, and how often do you use it? And it's a beautiful day, you want to get your car out.
Well, if you spend 90% of the time on the track, then a track car makes sense. If you spend 90% of your time driving on the road, then a road car, and then occasionally take it on the track. Yeah. I mean, they're certainly capable on track out of the box.
Who spends 90% of the time on the track?
Yeah. Well, believe it or not, we recently filmed an episode with a guy called Al in his 996 GT3, and he's done 10 track days a year for 10 years.
Wow.
the guy, so he's done 40,000 track miles. So it does happen.
Yeah, it does happen.
It does happen. But you know, there's so much joy and pleasure out of driving on the road when the roads are clear and the environment and everything is just perfect.
Yeah.
That they certainly both have their merits for sure.
Yeah.
So talk to me about suspension. Are you running any different suspension, Bilsteins, torsion bars?
The suspension is exactly the same as it was the original. The only thing I did, I changed the shocks. They are Bilstein, we call it sportliche Straße, to make it a bit harder. And other from that, suspension is the same. The brakes, I've got Mintex brake pads on and a different brake fluid, but other from that, yeah.
The thing is you would have lost a lot of weight over the original car, so actually these brakes are probably plentiful now.
Yeah, the car is, I had it on a scale recently.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I went to a scrapyard.
Yeah? So what's the scrap weight of this one, Ralph?
1,040 kilos.
That is good.
Yeah.
That is good.
And
so,
when you speak to Stuttgart Klassiker, sorry to interrupt you,
Yes.
they say, if you take the sunroof, it would be 1,000. But
the thing is these are
weight.
statistics that you find on a piece of paper or on a dyno sheet or on the scales of a scrapyard. But that's not the real world. The real world is this car out there on circuit or up a mountain pass. And that's what makes all the difference.
And you're right.
And that smile that you get from the sunroof coming open, that you can't quantify by statistic.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I mean, it's you know, for me, it's 40 kilos more or less. Doesn't really make the difference. But it's just over a ton. And you're right, with that weight and with the horsepower I've got, the brakes are perfectly fine. The new brake pads and brake fluid does the trick.
So
that's all you need.
1,000 kilos.
Yeah.
And you've had the engine on a dyno. Once you put in the nicest 4 cams, what did you manage to get out of it?
265.
265, yeah, it's a good strong number. 265 and a 1,000, I mean, that's a beautiful power to weight ratio there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's have a quick look underneath the bonnet, if that's all right, and see what we've got.
Not much.
Not much. And I'll tell you what, that's a really clean install. That looks really smart. So you've got your fuel tank there.
Yeah.
Did you get good mileage out of the fuel tank?
No.
No? Not big enough?
Well, I mean, it's quite a funny thing. It's only 45 liters.
Yeah.
And with 45 liters, you can't go very far, particularly when you drive it like I do.
But at least it's light, right?
Yeah. Well, it would be good to have more weight in the front, really, but no, it is what it is. So.
And you've got some circuit stickers here. So these are circuits you've done with the car?
These are the tracks I did, yeah.
Okay, so what are they? Can you name them?
Well, this is Oulton Park.
Yeah.
This is Plyton Park.
Yeah.
Anglesey.
Nice.
Goodwood.
Yep.
and Donington.
Donington. Which one's your favourite of those?
Well, Goodwood.
Really? I'm Donington. Every day of the week.
Goodwood.
Yeah. I mean, they're all good.
But they're all nice. I mean,
Yeah.
Oulton Park is an amazing track. It's a fantastic.
Can I just say that is a really smart way to display the circuits that you've done? Because often enough people will have, they have a sticker here, a sticker there, blah, blah. Yeah, but yours are all the same colour, in the perfect alignment. I'd expect nothing less from you.
Thank you.
And underneath here, we've got all the mountain passes that we've done together. Was this just this year?
No,
there's
is some
not.
of them.
There's
It's
a
not
few of
all
them.
of them.
Yeah.
This is last year. This is some
Yeah.
of this year. I got. I don't know. You know how many we did? 23 this year, didn't we?
Yeah.
Lots of stickers at home.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's really cool. So otherwise, you've got a Renline battery cutoff here, I see. They always make really nice products, don't they? They're all just well made. And a nice little heater box cover, or whatever you call it over there. Renline.
Yeah, we put new LED fuse boxes in back and front.
Okay, nice. Yeah, really nice.
They're pretty.
And then otherwise, you've got a strut brace over the top there, Renline one as well.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, I've noticed that you have the most significant modification you've made to this car, and the one that's given you an abundance of horsepower is
What's
this. Yeah, come over here, Tom. That's probably the most performance part orientated on this car. That's got to be worth at least 45 horsepower. Anyway. Yeah, there's a nice array there of badges. Yeah, good wood. 0 Fuchs given. Yeah, a few Onassis. Oh no, is it Onassis? Yeah, Onassis was on the back, but a few Megaphonics badges. Yeah. Let's have a quick look inside. So we've got backdated gauges here, haven't we?
Yes.
Yeah, they look really nice. Do you mind if I take a seat? Is that okay?
No, sure. I mean, that was for me important, that particular inside it is as much as ST as possible.
Yeah.
So the gauges are what an ST looked like.
Yeah.
This is an original hockey puck.
Nice.
It is from the 70s.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, that is not something the grain on that leather is wonderful. Really, really smart.
I had the
weathered as well.
leather done here, obviously, because it was gone.
Sure. Okay, fantastic. So you have the gauges backdated, but they're still the original 3.2 items, just backdated. This is quite nice, this little silver trim you've got here, just cleans up, tidies up the dash. 917 star shifter.
Yep.
No short shift kit, just the original one?
No, it's a vent shift.
Okay.
Shifter.
Yeah, that feels really positive.
Yeah.
It's tight.
It's really nice.
Really nice.
Works really well, actually.
Yeah.
And actually, funnily enough, when you look at the handbrake and the heat levers in the middle, they are old as well.
Oh yeah.
They came out of the back of a garage.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, and the seats, what are we looking at? Are these BF Torinos, is that right?
These are, Renline RS 80. Not
They're
Renline,
comfortable,
sorry,
they're nice.
they are Ren Sport seats,
Ren
I think.
Sport seats.
Ren Sport seats.
So nice.
Yeah, they are very comfortable,
Yeah,
actually.
really nice. I like the corduroy inserts, that looks smart.
That took me a while to decide what to go for with the seats. I wasn't really sure what to do, and then I think it's a good choice. Goes nice with the carpet and everything.
Yeah, they're comfortable. They look like there's a
But
decent amount of
that
support.
was the point. If you go like 2,000-3,000 miles Alps trip, you need to be comfortable.
It's a long time inside the car. And I see you've got a little knob here. What's that?
Well, this is a Bluetooth amplifier behind. So you switch it on in volume,
Right.
and then you can connect your iPhone to it.
Okay.
And
A nice little Hoyer clock as well. Well, that's very stealth. It almost looks like it's not there, really.
yeah,
very
it took
cool.
radio out, and it's
Lightweight door.
all you need, isn't it?
Yeah, no, true. On a longer journey, I mean, people say, it's nice to have a stereo and have some music with you for sure.
Well, I don't. To be fair, Frank, I don't listen to music in the car.
Oh, really?
Ever, no. I just listen to the sound. And it's first of all, it's loud.
I've heard that a million times. No,
don't-
honestly, like I get it. You know, everyone's like, "Oh, I don't listen to the stereo. I open the windows." You know, what's called, and I bask in the glory of air-cooled classics and sounds.
In a way, it
And
is.
I get it, but to be honest, when like you're doing like miles and miles across continent, you know, going to countries and stuff, it's a long way to go, and it's headache-inducing in some cars.
headphones, then.
Yeah, exactly.
Then
Headphones and
use
speakers.
headphones, yeah.
But like, what's called, I personally quite actually like. Call me a tart, but I quite like the luxury of having a stereo with Spotify, you know, and like Led Zeppelin blasting.
Well, when we
For a longer journey.
when we built the car, you can see we've got the speakers in the door.
Yeah.
And then again, an ST with speakers doesn't really go. And I still got it. It's an original. I think it was in the car when I bought it, a Blaupunkt Bremen cassette player. But then I decided to take, because I never used it, and I took it out and put that Bluetooth speaker in.
No, I love my music. I think it's too important. Like, even if I don't have a stereo in the car, then I've got headphones in. The thing is like, when you're going up and down a mountain pass and the engine's under load and, you know, the sounds are echoing off rocks and you're going through tunnels, then yeah, okay, kill the stereo and that's all you want to listen to. But when you're on the motorway and you're sitting there for like hours in traffic, that's not quality, that's just quantity. And that's when I want a good sound. Okay, cool. So the rear of the car is stripped out, so you've got no rear seats, just carpets.
Correct.
Very nice. Yeah. Well, dude, it's an absolutely gorgeous car. Thank you so much for bringing it down. I'm so pleased that we got it on camera, and I just think it was it's an interesting to hear, you know, the journey that you went on in building your own car, and it certainly, hopefully, is going to provide some information for people as to what's involved with that process. So yeah, thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Cheers.
Cheers.